Joining me now is Edmund Ghareeb. He is a scholar and specialist in Middle East affairs. If the vote to separate from Iraq does go through, what does it mean for the country of Iraq, but also for the region?
There's no doubt that this is an important action. It's a historic one. It's an expression of the Kurdish desire for self-determination. It's been a dream for a long time. But at the same time, this is also going to send a message to the neighbors, to Iraq and to the neighbors. In Iraq, basically, Iraq right now is weak. It's still fighting ISIS. And it's easy for the Kurds to take unilateral steps. It's much easier than would be the case in Iran or Turkey. But Iraq has 5 million Kurds. Iran has somewhere between 10 to 12 million Kurds. Turkey has between 20 to 22 million Kurds. So if the Kurds in these countries basically take a look at what's going on in Iraq and they say, well, if our 5 million brothers are going to have independence, why don't we?
What about me? Destabilizing in a sense.
Absolutely. And this is a very important point. It's not the Kurdish leadership is saying basically that they don't intend to harm any of the neighbors. They don't intend to work against them. They want to maintain very good relationships with them. But at the same time, the problem is it's not what the intentions are. It's the fact that if there is an independent state, then this could create a lot of problems.
Well, we know with George W. Bush, he didn't intend a lot of what happened. Unintended consequences is ripe in that area. And let's talk about Iraq, because you've got Kurds, Sunnis, Shiites. It's splintered. A lot of people think that this may be the first step in the disintegration of Iraq as we know it. Is that a fair assumption?
There's no doubt that this could happen. However, it's not going as easy as people believe, some people believe. It's not just simply because of this issue of the Kurds or the conflict between the Shia and the Sunni. This was part of the problem of President Bush and the policies that were pursued after that. There was something like they Lebanonized Iraq. Lebanon, as you know, basically positions, posts in the government. The president is a Christian, the prime minister is a Sunni, the speaker of the parliament is a Shiite. This is what the policy that was pursued in Iraq, and it led to a great deal of polarization. The problem, however, is going to be this, that Iraq, as you know, is a country of many different ethnic groups and religions. You have today the problem, if it was just simply the 3 provinces of northern Iraq, which would be Dhok, Arbil, Sulaymaniyah. Some Iraqis might say, go ahead, come and the province, which is a very oil-rich region, actually, oil and gas, Diyala, Salah ad-Din, Nineveh. These are areas which are disputed between the Iraqi Arabs and the Kurds, between the Turkmen and the Kurds, between Sunnis and Shias. So there's going to be a dispute over water, over oil, gas, borders, and that's what makes it dangerous.
Let me ask you one final question before we let you go. ISIS, the war against ISIS is not over. Is this something that they might capitalize on as well, creating this instability that we might see as a result of this?
There's no doubt that ISIS is going to try to benefit from this, clearly. The question is, how successful they're going to be, because so far they have been forced to retreat. At the same time, however, what we are seeing right now is that the Kurdish leadership, because they realize that the end of ISIS, as we know it at least, is coming very close. And that's why they decided to move now, because this is an opportune time. This is a good time to get support for their ambitions for achieving self-determination. But ISIS will remain at least as a guerrilla force. And I think we're likely to see more terrorism from it in Iraq, in Syria, and beyond, Afghanistan, Libya, etc.
We're going to have to leave it there. Edmund, thanks so much for coming in. Really appreciate it.